Hi, welcome to week 3 of Innovation 2100. This week we're going to be looking at research techniques and tools, a number of tools you can use to do research for proposals. Before I get into the assignments for this week, I want to give some feedback on last week. First of all, I think people did a really good job overall dealing with the SMART analysis and trying to find good opportunities. Many of you did find real opportunities. We'll touch on a few of them in just a couple of minutes, but I hope everyone found the assignment illustrative, even if you didn't quite hit what I was looking for. Some of you found opportunities along the lines of your passion, which is always a good place to be. And the process of searching for most of you was hopefully illuminating in that how many opportunities are out there. Some of you stuck very tight to some of your original ideas. Others of you were willing to pivot and go find new ideas, which I think is a good place to be. When you think about what's going on in terms of opportunities, if you have a lot of skill and a lot of advanced tactical advantages, then you can try and go your own way exactly. But very often, I like to think of this as almost an analogy for eating, right? There are times when you want something very specific, but lots of times you can do very well by just figuring out what's on sale this week and what can I use, what can I make out of that, right? So what opportunities are out there that are reasonably consistent and finding a way to advance. In this class, one of the things I wanted, and maybe I didn't specify quite as carefully, is that I was looking for opportunities for you to write. This is a writing class, not a go build something class. So while there's lots of interesting opportunities and use of tactical writing when you're, for example, trying to build your business and you want to do a pitch, pitching is not the point of this class, and we're not going to pursue things that involve you pitching. Some of you had some interesting ideas, and I'm quite willing to take time, do a call and chat with you or meet physically on campus to discuss any of your business ideas or some of the other things that didn't quite fit well within this class, but are actually within the kinds of things I'm very much interested in. So I can, if you want some discussion about how you might use some tactical writing techniques to improve on that stuff, I'm willing to sit down and chat with you about that. But for what happened, for what's going on in this class, I'm going to go ahead and sort of jump to the discussion. For each of you, you got your individual feedback, but on the topic for the discussion board, for every topic, I went in and I made a comment. So like this particular one from Milan is an interesting topic. It was actually a really well done overall in terms of the assignment. Could have had a little better formal SMART analysis, but it hit most of the issues. But importantly for this one, the call for proposals ends September 9th. There's no way we in this class could turn around something that fast. And so this idea can't move forward as something the class might be working on. For the next one, again, interesting topic. The proposal deadlines were short. One of the things, if you didn't look for multiple opportunities, is there's actually a lot of opportunities out there. And so some have shorter deadlines, some have longer. And if you're going to be successful in the proposal game, one of the things you do is you continually just go out there and search. Things won't perfectly align all the time. In fact, most of the time they won't perfectly align. But by searching, you can say, oh, there's an idea. There's something I can work on. So in this post, everyone should have something, and you'll see where that comes back on. Some of these, for example, were not a proper call for proposals where you could submit and somebody's going to go through a review process. What I'm looking for the assignments here was that things are something that's you could actually do a formal submission. That's what a proposal, in my view, is. And there's going to be a review process. You're going to get some feedback on it. From the survey we did in the first week, some people were really not interested in doing things that were really submitted. Many of you were. I want everything we work on to be potentially submitted. Some of them may not have clients because some of you, the fear of working with clients was one of the things that some people were worried about. So at least one or two of these, for one of them, the only client will be the Bachelor of Innovation so that you don't have to worry about external clients. The one we're going to be talking about the opportunity now is us and somebody else, but that's a partner I have very good relationships with. And then some of you had opportunities that require partnering. And so I made comments like this. If the opportunity is going to require a partner to be successful besides just UCCS or just me, then I can't commit to it, but we'll have to try and find those partners. So if you if you're one of the people who had a passion and this was the topic you came up with, and it says it will take partners, let me know, shoot me an email. I'll start, if you want to try and find the partners, that's great. It's a good opportunity for you to work a network and try and work in the area. If you feel you want to try and partners and you don't have them, then let me know and I'll go out and try and find you some partners and find us some partners, because some of these might require the university as well as small business, and I can be the university half of a partnership like that. But some of these are outside my skill set, so I would not be a credible partner from a reviewer's point of view, and we'll talk about that. So the place where most people struggled in this would be, there's probably one. Again, some had deadline issues, so I'll just talk about it. So some of these, in fact, I guess I can use this as an example, right? You found an opportunity that at the surface looked like it might have worked, but doesn't really work. So one of this week's assignments, based on what I saw from this, is that people need to spend a little bit more time or gain a little bit more skill at how to read an opportunity and analyze it. And so there's a bunch of things to go through that. So in this week's assignment, I'm going to go ahead and jump over. Actually, I was going to. So I'll just use one more as an example of some of the issues you can run into, and then I'll jump into where we're going to get in the assignment. So, you know, Stephanie here had a nice analysis of what her SMART objectives would be. She chose this grant from Easter Seals, which takes you to this link right here. And so this is an example of something that was not a viable grant. Why? Because this was a grant to Easter Seals, right? If you look at the phrasing here, right, they were awarded a grant from somebody else, right? So Easter Seals is not giving out these grants. They're getting these grants. This can be tricky when you're actually searching for the word grant. Sometimes the word grant will show up in granting agencies, but far more often it's a call for proposal. So in fact, if I had done the same search, so this is actually, the link does a search. And if you look at the search results, this will show all these grants, but almost all these are grants that Easter Seals received, right? And so the word here is searching for the word grants. If, however, I'd gone to Easter Seals, which is a nonprofit, and they have lots of things going on, they actually had requests for proposals. So these are them asking for people to submit proposals to them. And that's really what I was looking for, was people to find organizations that are looking for, give us a proposal to do something. And so Google searches will eventually find them, but you got to be very careful with the words to make sure you're finding the right things. But you also have to go read what you find and make sure it's there. So many people whose assignments don't move forward they weren't actually valid opportunities. They weren't a call for proposals. A level of interest from an organization is not a call for proposals. We want something that's a very formal part of that process. And many of you did find that you had to adjust your alignment, and that's pretty common. And when you want to delve into these, you have to sort of read through them. So to make that a little more structured for this week, in the assignment, I've posted this opportunity now, which was the Phase 2 pre-screening application research. This was something put out when I searched for the call for proposals for the thing I did my example SMART analysis on last week. This is one of the things I found, and this there was a Phase 1 version of this, but same basic idea. I was able to go in and analyze, do I think we're going to be viable? For many people, SMARTs, in fact, in my view in general, almost always the hardest thing for SMART analysis is achievable, right? It's not hard to make it specific, but you may not be able to achieve that specific result that you were looking for on the timeline you did. So that's, again, part of the looping process is you might have to look at things, go back and revise it. If your achievable requires partners, then we're going to have to find partners. That doesn't make it's not achievable. It means you haven't finished analyzing, is it done, and we'll get there. So there's some videos for this week on general research tools using Google Scholar, and Zotero, and then a video on ChatGPT, and then there are 2 assignments. So let's go ahead and jump into the assignment part for this week. So Many of you also lost a few points. Many people got full points on this last assignment, but when people are losing points, it's often because they're not reading the directions carefully. Reading is an important part of writing, and reading the instructions of what you have to do is important. So if you only do 3 out of 5 things, you're not going to get all the points. This assignment has 5 major points. Each of these are worth 5 points. But you'll actually see when I talk about the 5 points, you're going to have to get to the end to get them together, right? So the first one is reading and analyzing. There's actually nothing directly here you're going to turn in. All the writing shows up at the end. But when I analyze the writing, I'll look to see, did you read and analyze this opportunity? And I want you to analyze it and suggest what regions of Colorado we should focus on, what preliminary story if it's consistent with seed, scale, or planning, and justify your answer. So it's not just, say the answer, but actually I want you to justify why. And then assess if UCCS should lead the effort or be a partner giving a summer reward according to this, because this is us and a partner. Do we lead and they're our partner, or are we leading and they're working with us? Who's in charge? And I want you to read that and understand why. Again, this is part about reading and understanding what the opportunity is asking for and thinking through that. And then I want you to do some research. So the research is going to have 2 pieces. The first is related to that opportunity now call. This gives me a way of making sure everyone's working on the same thing. And this is one of the 2 group opportunities the whole class might work on, or parts of the class, depending on how many other of the person passional projects move forward. So I want you to find at least 3 formal references to support this effort, and you're going to have to write a little bit about them. And I also want you to find 1 image or graphic that you think could be used. And one of the reasons for doing this is a common thing we do in teams when working on team proposals is multiple people try and find references and relate them to our story and try and think about or find graphics. And then we can, as a group, have a much broader range of things. This is a common brainstorming technique to have each person sort of brainstorm separately. Then next week we'll talk about bringing some stuff together. But many of you had personal passion projects that I think are potentially viable. And so I want you to continue moving forward on doing some research on those. And so I have a little bit about what I considered viable to move forward. So if your topic was listed and you want to move forward, fine. If you don't actually want to pursue that, go back to the discussion and add a post that says, I did this for the assignment, I really don't want to move forward on this, so that no one else is looking at trying to do that. Because if you want to move forward, then we're going to try and get a team of people that might be interested in working with you. If your topic was one that didn't get to move forward, you're going to need to look at another topic and find 3 references to support that topic's research question. Or you can try and write to me and convince me, no, I really do want to move forward and resurrect your topic. You're probably going to have to change either the objectives and find a viable proposal. I don't think I said anyone's things weren't good because of the objectives. It was really that the proposal didn't seem viable. There was one that's sort of iffy because I'm not sure how it could be done or if there's enough resources, but even that one can move forward for the references point of view. So if you're really passionate and your idea didn't work, but I'm not going to accept moving forward in this class with something that's basically a business proposal, or I'm going to develop something and then see if I can get somebody to fund it from that. It has to be something about writing a proposal and being able to work to that. So the next part, which may not make sense until you watch the videos and read the chapters, is using Zotero. This is a reference management tool. I want you to all do a little bit with Zotero, set it up, capture your references in it, and I want to see a screen grab of your references. And then in terms of assigning it, I'm going to actually grade it by basically putting this all together. So you're going to use change tracking your word processor. You're going to write a rough draft of at least 300 words on your analysis from part 1. You're going to then add another section in your document that has the references, and for each reference you can have a 2 or 3 sentence analysis of them, explain how each is potentially useful for the story, for the opportunity now, and then you're going to describe how the figure might be useful. Then you're going to have one more section where you analyze the references for the week 2 topic that you chose. Tell me which topic you chose, and then have the references and analyze it and how you would work them into the story that was described. All of this should be at least 600 words. Can be more. It depends on how things work out. And then the last part of the assignment is using ChatGPT. And I wanted to put this afterwards because it's really, you'll get a chance to see it. I want you to actually write the other thing in terms of change tracking, save your document, whatever, and then I want you to use ChatGPT afterwards. So you're going to use ChatGPT to refine your draft. So this is a draft. You're going to cut and paste some of it, put it in ChatGPT, get the refined text, and then put it back in. But I want you to put it back in as a separate version. Don't overwrite your old one. I want to see the old one and the new one. And then I want you to ask ChatGPT for ideas and references related to either the opportunity now or the week 2 topic. I'm sorry, I forgot to update that. I'll fix that. So you're going to ask ChatGPT for ideas and references for one of the two things that you did in the other part of the assignment. And then I want you to try and verify, again, using Google Scholar, Google, Bing, whatever your choices are, any of the ideas and references. So I want you to explore that a little, and then I want you to capture some of those results into your document. So because today's officially a holiday, I actually made this due September 11th, which is next Monday, which means I won't have it graded before next week, but this will give you more time to do it. Next week's assignment won't build on this week's assignment too much, so it's not terrible if I won't have a chance to grade it. Okay, so the next assignment, go back, for this week is a personal journal, research tool and journal, which is really you writing about your learning with respect to the course material, so the tools and stuff we talked about, and your personal learning with respect to the research tools we're going to do. The assignment is 5 parts, and I want your journal to address each of those stages. Last week I didn't take off too many points for people who missed a little bit, but I wanted every stage last week, so some people lost a point or two because you just didn't address everything you were supposed to do. There are 5 parts of this assignment. The journal should have a statement or two about each of those 5 stages as you go through that if you want to be able to get full credit. This again is also due September 11th. Like last week, I actually recommend you actually make journal entries while you're doing part 1. Write a sentence or 2 or 3 or 4 about part 1. Then when you get to part 2, trying to come back at the end of the week and remember everything you did, just not produce good learning journals for what you've done. So that's it for this week. Some of you also, and I made some comments in your personal things, right? Maybe I come across as scary. I know I can be intimidating for some people. Reach out to me. No one has actually visited me during my office hours, which are Tuesday 9:30 to 10:30 and then 4:30 to 5:30. The 9:30 to 10:30 I'll be in my office, but you can reach out online. 4:30 to 5:30 I'll be down in the cybersecurity building. You can reach me there or again online. And if those times don't work out, just shoot me an email. I'll find some time we can get together. Some of you have interesting ideas. Some of you are struggling with some issues. That's why I have office hours, so we can chat about those kinds of things. So thank you. Talk to you next week.